Hi everyone. In this video, we will be studying about the splints used in orthopedics. The first image shown here is of Craig splint. Craig splint is basically used in DDH, developmental dysplasia of hip, and there is a connecting bar. And basically, the thing which we need to remember is that in all the splints used for the DDH, there will be hyperabduction position. Hyperabduction is happening at the hip. Then next we have Paulic harness. Paulic harness is also used for DDH. Then this is von Rosen splint. Von Rosen splint again in the hyperabduction position it holds, and it is also used for DDH. So basically we need to remember the age group. Like von Rosen is used in the babies, then Paulic harness for the young children, and the Craig splint for the older ones. Then next we have this splint for scoliosis. For the scoliosis we have two splint. Two braces, that is one is Boston brace and one is Milwaukee brace. So how we'll remember this? Imagine that there are three places: Scotland, Milwaukee and Boston. So Scotland for scoliosis, Milwaukee for Milwaukee brace, and in Milwaukee, eye is coming means straight bar will be there in the Milwaukee brace. While from Boston, Boston brace does not have any straight bar and it is placed in the region of the spine. Then next we have the Ashes brace. Ashes brace is used for dorsolumbar spine immobilization and anterior spinal hyperextension. Ashe brace, how you'll remember that it is used for dorsolumbar spine. Imagine that A from Ashe and A for Aishwarya Rai. Imagine Aishwarya Rai standing by keeping hands on her waist. So dorsolumbar position, okay, dorsolumbar brace. And how we will identify? If we extend the corners of the A, then it becomes X. So basically there will be a cross or X formed by the brace. So Ashes brace is for dorsolumbar spine. Then next we have the Taylor brace. Taylor brace is also for dorsolumbar spine. Taylor is the actress in the English movies in the Hollywood. So remember Ashe, Aishwarya and Taylor. Then Taylor brace is also for dorsolumbar spine, but there is no cross. Then next we have the Somi brace. Somi brace is used for neck immobilization. Imagine a sumo wrestler holding the neck. Somi stands for S stands for sternal, then O stands for occipital and M stands for mandibular. So basically three things will be there in the brace, three immobilization points: the sternal, the occipital and the mandibular. Then is four post collar neck immobilization. In four post collar neck immobilization, basically four posts will be there, two over the shoulders and two over the neck. While here it was not four, it was three connecting bars. Then we have the lumbar corset. Lumbar corset is basic backache brace that is used in the people. Then we have toe raising splint. Toe raising splint. See here, toe is being raised by the splint. It is used for foot drop, common perennial and sciatic nerve injuries. Then we have Kramer wire splint. Kramer wire splint. This is used in emergency immobilization. Remember that we cram in emergency exam. That is without any notification. If we get an exam, then we cram. So in the emergency, we use the Kramer splint. Then this is image of CTEV shoe. In the CTEV shoe, basically what we will have: straight inner border, congenital talipes equinovarus, straight inner border, outer shoe raised and no heel. No heel will be there. Outer will be shoe raised and inner border will be straight. These three characteristics we need to remember. Then next we have Dennis Brown splint. Dennis Brown splint, the it is for congenital talipes equinovarus, and basically the shoes will be there in the Dennis Brown splint for the clubfoot child. Then next we have Bowler Brown splint. Bowler Brown splint is used for fracture femur. In the Bowler Brown splint there are three pulleys. The proximal one number pulley is attached to the foot. Then second pulley is attached and giving traction to the femur. Second is to the femur and third is traction in line with the leg. Okay. First foot, then to the femur, and third one to the tibia. Then next we have Thomas splint. Thomas splint is used in fracture femur and TB knee. In this basically we have an inner bar and an outer bar. The inner bar is angulated for greater trochanter. Here the greater trochanter will be placed and the outer bar basically for the greater trochanter, and inner bar will be at the angle of 120 degree. Then next we have cock-up splint. Cock-up splint is for radial nerve palsy. Radial nerve palsy causes wrist drop. Remember the mnemonic Dr. Kuma. Okay. So D drop by the radial nerve and claw hand by the ulnar nerve. So wrist drop caused by radial nerve palsy will be corrected by the cock-up splint. Then next we have knuckle bender splint. Knuckle bender splint is for ulnar nerve palsy. Basically ulnar nerve supplies the lumbricals, and if the lumbricals are not functioning, then we need to use a splint that will serve as function of the lumbricals. So what is the lumbricals function? That is in this position, that is flexion at the metacarpophalangeal joint and extension at the interphalangeal joint. Knuckle bender splint, to bend the knuckles for ulnar nerve palsy. Then is aluminium splint. Aluminium splint is basically used for finger pathologies. And this is aeroplane splint. Aeroplane splint is used for brachial plexus. We fly the aeroplanes with the arm. So for brachial plexus, we will be using the aeroplane splint. Okay. Then next we have sugar tongue splint. Sugar tongue splint is used for the radius fracture or forearm bone fractures. Sugar tongue splint. So that were all the important splints I discussed. We'll be revising again, and one splint not mentioned here in the images I need you to remember is one is dynamic finger splint. Dynamic finger splint will be like this only, with the cocker splint only, but here we can move the fingers, means we can flex the fingers. This splint will be used holding the fingers in the extension, but we can person can flex the fingers in between to prevent the immobilization. So now let's revise again. Sugar tongue splint for forearm, then aeroplane splint for brachial plexus, aluminium splint for finger pathology, knuckle bender splint for ulnar nerve palsy, and cocker splint for radial nerve wrist drop, then Thomas splint for fracture femur TB knee, 120 degree and greater trochanter. Then Bowler Brown, 1 is foot, 2 is femur, and 3 is tibia. Dennis Brown splint for CTEV shoe. Then we have Kramer splint in emergency we use, toe raising splint for foot drop, lumbar corset, 4-post collar, Somi brace, then Taylor brace, Ashe brace, both for dorsolumbar spine. Then we have the Milwaukee brace and the Boston brace for the scoliosis, Von Rosen Paulik harness, and Craig splint for the DDH. I hope you will find this material useful, and if you like it, please do subscribe my channel. Thank you.